Notice is hereby given of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Town of Westfield in the County of Union, New Jersey at 7:30 p.m. on the evening of Tuesday, January 6, 2015, in the boardroom of the Administration Building, 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey. The purpose of the meeting is to reorganize the board and to transact the regular business of the board and to transact any other business to come properly before the board. This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, entitled the Open Public Meetings Act, the Westfield School Board on Friday, December 19, 2014, caused to be posted at the office of the Board of Education, located at 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey, and delivered to the Westfield Leader, the Star Ledger, the Westfield Library, Town Clerk of Westfield, Alternative Press, and Patch.com, a meeting notice setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At the annual school board elections held on November 4th, 2014, Mark Friedman, Christopher Langhart, and Margaret Oster were all elected for 3-year terms to the Board of Education, and congratulations to all three of you on your election. All three members were sworn in prior to the meeting. Now I will take the roll call. Rich Matesic.
Here.
Lucy Biegler.
Here.
Mark Friedman.
Here.
Brendan Galligan.
Here.
Christopher Langhart.
Here.
Ginny Lights.
Here.
Gretchen Olig.
Here.
Peggy Oster.
Here.
Mitch Slater.
Here.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is nominations for the office of the President of the Board of Education. Is there any nominations?
Yes, I would like to nominate Rich Matesic. Can I continue?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So I'm honored tonight to nominate my friend and colleague the past 4 years on the Board of Education, Rich Matesic, as our president for 2015. Over the last few years, with Rich as our leader, this board has accomplished many positive initiatives that have benefited all of our stakeholders, students, administration, and the general public. Leadership is a gift given by those who follow. As we look ahead to our future, we continue to need leaders that can empower others. We, as a board of 9 duly elected volunteers, are the starting team for our school district, and Rich has been our leader. He has always made each one of us feel important. He has shown incredible attention to detail, and I believe all at this table will agree, has truly made a difference for the Westfield School District. Rich has earned his leadership every day. It is with great pride that I officially nominate Richard Matesic as our board president.
Thank you.
Do we have a second? Any questions or comments? Ready for a vote? Rich Matesic.
Yes.
Lucy Biegler.
Yes.
Mark Friedman.
Yes.
Brendan Galligan.
Yes.
Christopher Langhart.
Yes.
Ginny Lights.
Yes.
Gretchen Olig.
Yes.
Peggy Oster.
Yes.
Mitch Slater.
Yes.
Rich, I'll now turn the meeting over to you.
Oh, thank you. I would ask for nominations and the election for the office of Vice President. Mark.
I'd like to nominate Gretchen Olig. Okay.
Second?
Okay.
Second.
Thank you, Lucy.
You want to take it? You want to accept it? So I'd like to nominate Gretchen Olig for the position of Vice President. She's been a member of the board for 3 years. She served on all of the committees other than technology. We need to get you on technology at some point. And she's currently the chairperson of the Policies Committee. Gretchen, in her time on the board, has demonstrated an ability to assimilate a lot of information very quickly and come away with an informed decision. She's been very collaborative as part of the full board and of the committees we serve on together. I believe that she would be excellent as part of the leadership team, and therefore I formally nominate Gretchen Olig for the position of Vice President.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Any other nominations? All right.
Rich Matesic.
Yes.
Lucy Biegler.
Yes.
Mark Friedman.
Yes.
Brendan Galligan.
Yes.
Chris Langhart.
Yes.
Ginny Lights.
Yes.
Gretchen Olig.
Yes.
Peggy Oster.
Yes.
Mitch Slater.
Yes.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Congratulations. Come on up.
Oh, I have
Come on down.
Bring your chair.
No, that's mine. Your party.
I'm going to ask the board then to consider items 3 through 7. Could I get a second? Thank you, Ginny. I'd like to talk about item 3, but before I do that, are there any comments on items 4, 5, or 6, or questions? All right. Item 3 is our acknowledgement of the Code of Ethics. I'd like to read that along with all members of the board. We'll just go around the table. I acknowledge and agree that a school board member shall abide by the following School Board Association Code of Ethics for school board members. Number 1, I will uphold and enforce all laws, rules, and regulations of the State Board of Education and court orders pertaining to schools. Desired changes shall be brought about only through legal and ethical procedures.
Number 2, I will make decisions in terms of the educational welfare of children and will seek to develop and maintain public schools that meet the individual needs of all children, regardless of their ability, race, creed, sex, or social standing.
Number 3, I will confine my board action to policymaking, planning, and appraisal, and I will help to frame policies and plans only after the board has consulted those who will be affected by them.
Number 4, I will carry out my responsibility not to administer the schools, but together with my fellow board members to see that they are well run.
Number 5, I will recognize that authority rests with the Board of Education and will make no personal promises nor take any private action that may compromise the board.
Number 6, I will refuse to surrender my independent judgment to special interest or partisan political groups or to use the school for personal gain or for the gain of friends.
Number 7, I will hold confidential all matters pertaining to the schools which, if disclosed, would needlessly injure individuals or the schools. In all other matters, I will provide accurate information and, in concert with my fellow board members, interpret to the staff the aspirations of the community for its school.
Number 8, I will vote to appoint the best qualified personnel available after consideration of the recommendation of the Chief Administrative Officer.
9, I will support and protect school personnel in proper performance of their duties.
And number 10, I will refer all complaints to the Chief Administrative Officer and will act on the complaints at public meetings only after failure of an administrative solution. With that, are there any other comments or questions on these resolutions? All right.
Rich Matesic?
Yes.
Lucy Beegler?
Yes.
Mark Friedman?
Yes.
Brendan Gallagher?
Yes.
Chris Lineheart?
Yes.
Ginny Lights?
Yes.
Gretchen Olig?
Yes.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Mitch Slater?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll now recognize the public for agenda items only. All right, seeing no one come to the podium, we will move to the superintendent's report. Dr. Dolan?
Yes, thank you. So January is certainly a time where we try to reflect and where we make resolutions. It's also a good time for school districts to look at the goals they've set for the year and determine how are we progressing on those goals. And that's what we're going to do this evening. I'm going to talk about how we're progressing on both board goals that were established earlier this year and district goals as well. But everything really starts from the mission statement of the Westfield Board of Education. And I've read it a number of times, but I will read it again because I think it's important. It helps us all focus on what are we striving for and what do we work towards each and every day, no matter what our role is for this district. So the mission statement for our district is, the Westfield Public School District, in cooperation with family and community, prepares all students to reach their highest potential and to become productive, well-balanced, and responsible citizens in a global society through educational programs that respect individual differences and diversity. So again, from that, everything else, our strategic plan and our goals flow from that. Earlier this year, the board worked at a workshop to determine what their goals would be. The first one is to elevate board work to be more strategic and forward-thinking. The main way the board has been working on this to date has been through the various committees of the board. So each committee of the board spent time and established goals for the year, and keeping in mind that it's so easy for all of us to get bogged down in the details, whether you're looking at curriculum or policy or anything, to get bogged down in the details and to maybe not look at the broader picture or not elevate what you're thinking about. So each of the board committees are working on that as their individual goals this year. The second board goal talked about working to clarify governance structures, roles and responsibilities of the board, and individual boardsmanship. even the most well-meaning members, when they join a board of any sort, it is hard to remember, what responsibilities are whose, and how does this particular board work, and how does this particular organization work. So we've already had one workshop this year, and are going to have another workshop where we are working to make sure we define what roles and responsibilities are, and to answer questions, because you don't generally have training of how to be a board member before you're on a board. You have some, but you don't have much. So this board is trying to work together to help redefine that and to progress in that area. So that's a quick summary of the work so far on the 2 board goals. I don't know if board members wanted to add anything else about either goal. If not, I can go on to district goals. All right. District goals. We have 3 district goals. The first one, we spoke about developing and making recommendations to address long-term financial needs and potential areas to increase revenue. So we've looked at this a couple of different ways and continue to work on it. One of the things that Dana Sullivan, our business administrator, working with the finance committee of the board, has been doing is looking at the state averages as an index and comparing how we compare, looking at our average cost per student, our cost per student, and seeing how that fits with the state average. We are below the state average in our cost per pupil, and then looking further at breakdowns for various parts of our budget. That work has been begun by Dana with the Finance Committee and will continue in future meetings. We also said we would strengthen our partnership with the Ed Fund and try to work cooperatively with them. So, for example, we've been working on a STEM initiative, working on the integration of science, technology, engineering, and math, and encouraging more opportunities for that in the district. We worked with the Ed Fund, and they initiated a great science or STEM night in October, which was a great success with several hundred students and their families coming out to have additional exposure to STEM and to how much potential there is there and how exciting those fields are. It was quite a night, and we appreciate the Ed Fund working towards that. We've also begun work of reviewing our current board policy and considering possible changes to increase revenue for the usage of our building, our various buildings. We have a number of groups who use them. A lot of them are community groups. So what are there opportunities there to increase revenue to help with the budget? To date, we're pleased with the fact that we have a new agreement with a summer camp. It was just approved, I believe, last board meeting, which will generate $36,000 in revenue for the budget. And we're actually talking with another group that may be interested in using some of our buildings during the summer as well. So we continue work in that area. We talked about establishing an alumni foundation. We certainly have very loyal alumni. We hear from them, and we see them, and they come back and visit. And so we've talked about the fact of trying to establish a foundation where alumni could help us with targeted needs or program needs. This has been discussed at our November 11th board workshop, and it's still under consideration. Our second goal is focused on community relations program in the district, making sure that it promotes the work of our district effectively and makes it more responsive to community needs. So on November 11th, we had a workshop which focused on the various ways we do communicate with various segments of our community. We also talked about the fact we have a new website. It was only implemented, I guess it's about 9 months ago. And it has the opportunity where the social media is more integrated in there. So we've been working on establishing that. So we definitely, Facebook is being used by a number of people. Our Twitter followers, we have over 1,000 Twitter followers. And we posted quite a few videos that both showcase what our students do in this district and their work. And also, sometimes there are wonderful programs for parents, but parents can't come out every night of the week, so there are some videos on our website for parents to view when it is convenient for them. So we've definitely increased the number of videos that are available to our community. We also, actually, Mark helped us with this next one, linking Google Analytics to our district website to track the traffic, so that, are there ways we can make things a little bit easier for parents? What is it they're looking for the most? What are outside people looking for? We've started work on that, and are finding it interesting, and we'll use it to continue to make our website better and better. The next one, anybody who's been a parent in Westfield can think back to not too long ago when it's the beginning of school, and you would get this packet from the school, and some people at this table I think even put those packets together. You would get this packet which with every color of paper imaginable, and every form had to be filled out differently, and parents would say, I don't know, 5 children, would spend hours and hours filling everything out. And then gradually we've tried to automate computerize some of that. But this was the big year where we decided everything was going to go through the parent portal. It took a great deal of work because you know how many state required authorizations there are for parents to fix, never mind do any updates, and everybody has emails that change, etc. But we are thrilled after a great deal of work in the district, a great deal of work. We put it out for parents. Parents in general were thrilled with it, and we're very happy with the percent of parents who were able to complete those forms via the parent portal. We did have to remind people a few times, but over 90% in all categories. And for those who may not have access that makes it easy to do this, we also provided them with the paper copies, and they could complete it that way. But this was a great deal of work in the district, but I have heard from a number of parents that they appreciate the effort and find it more efficient. We also talked about coming up with a system to allow additional community input into policy making. Now, when we have a proposed policy for first reading, it is now posted on the website so that the public is aware of it before the board meeting. It can come at the first board meeting for the first reading, can email us in between, or can come to the second meeting. So just more opportunities for the public. And the policy committee is also working on a goal to find other ways to seek input from constituents. And we've been working on a community survey. This community survey will form the basis of our next strategic plan, which we'll be working on next year. We had a meeting with the long-range planning committee of the board, reviewed previous surveys, looked at the data from those surveys to see what data was valuable and what questions did not provide us with something that was worthwhile. And made some changes, and we are just about ready with the community survey, and we'll be determining how we're going to implement it and how it will be sent out to segments of the community. And our third goal focused on the evaluation systems. Last year we implemented new evaluation systems for teachers and administrators. This was quite an undertaking. We do have over 500 teachers, and we do quite a number of observations and evaluations in the course of a year, and this was a completely new system that is on a digital platform. So it was quite a change for us. It worked well last year. It provides us with a great deal more data than we used to have. So we've been reviewing that data to try to determine, all right, where did we find that teachers could use more support, needed reinforcement, and then when we determine that, how are we going to provide that professional development? We've done that in quite a number of ways. Sometimes it's across departments. A given department, the social studies department, might have identified through their data that they needed to do more work across schools. Another department or grade level might have determined they needed work with websites. That data is pulled, and the professional development has been going on actually since the beginning of the year, both at grade level meetings, at school level meetings, at department meetings. And some of this will also be done at the February in-service where the teachers will be spending a day in professional development. So we've been making progress on this goal as well. So this has just been a snapshot of work that's been going on in the various goals, but I think we have been progressing on them, and we look forward to continuing for the next several months.
Thank you. That's excellent. Any comments or questions? I would just note that, these goals are, when did we come up with these as a board and administration?
When did we come up with them?
End of last year?
I believe we did them We had, no, we worked on them at the end of the school year, and I sent drafts to everyone in the summer.
Right.
It was either the very beginning of July is my
Yeah.
memory.
So these are, we got an early jump on these this year, and a lot of work went into them over the summer and through the first half of the school year. And I think it's important to note that these are something that the board and the administration came up with, which is on top of everything else you all do to run a school district. So this is not the day job, this is the, nights, weekends, and day job. And it's done in conjunction with all the board committees, the facilities committee, long-range planning facilities, et cetera, finance, et cetera. It's a lot of work, and you did a great job summarizing it, but I don't want to lose the point that a lot of work went into all this. Thank you for that. Anyone else? All right. And any other?
Just before you move on, Rich,
Sure.
announcements were not on the agenda, but there are some announcements.
Oh,
So
sure.
just-
Great, thank you. Anything down, Peggy, anything? Announcements? Was there anything at your seat when you?
Yep, I have an announcement concerning kindergarten registration. The Westfield Public School District will be registering children who will become eligible for kindergarten in the 2015-16 school year. The district also is interested in reaching children who have not attended the Westfield Public Schools for kindergarten, but will enter first grade in the fall. Registration dates, which begin next week, are posted on our website in several locations, including under important messages on the district's homepage.
Thank you. Lucy?
I don't have anything.
All right, Brenda? Nothing? Mark?
This is from the high school. The Westfield High School's World Language Department is launching an international film series, which will be free to the Westfield community. The first film will be shown on Thursday, January 22nd at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium. It is a Spanish film with English subtitles called La Misma Luna, Under the Same Moon. Donations will be accepted to support the Westfield High School's Spanish clubs, scholarships, and activities.
Thank you. Chris?
Congratulations to Jorge Ledesma and Nina Wang, who have been named National Merit semifinalists. In addition, 21 students have received recognition as commended students in the 2015 National Merit Program. Their names are listed in the news section of the district and high school websites.
Congratulations to Westfield High School students Jacob Davis, Aiden Paul, Kevin Sui, Jack Liebling, Mark Kostachik, Chris Eng, and Cole Feltman for collecting 1,934 pounds of food for the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Their efforts were recognized by the Food Bank as well as the Westfield Rotary. According to the Food Bank, on a single day in New Jersey, 71,000 residents do not know if they'll have food to eat. Thank you so much to these young men for helping to fill that urgent need.
Yes, this announcement regards Martin Luther King Jr. observance in Westfield. On Monday, January 19th, the Westfield Public Schools will observe the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. The 28th annual Interfaith commemorative service organized by the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Association of Westfield will be held at the First Congregational Church at 125 Elmer Street beginning at 1 p.m. The featured speaker will be Taiji Smith, an investigative reporter and TV producer. There will be an assembly at 12:15 p.m. at the Martin Luther King Monument on the South Avenue Circle before marching to the First Congregational Church. The theme this year is The Courage to Do the Right Thing. Students were invited to submit essays, poetry, art, and photography to illustrate this theme. Winners of these areas will be presented with prizes during the ceremony. And I would suggest to the public and board members that if you have an opportunity to attend this event, it is meaningful, it is impactful, and you will never forget it.
Thank you.
I do have a fine arts announcement. As our school winter concerts come to a close, we want to remind the public of the last one, which is scheduled for Friday night, February 6th. The Westfield High School Chorale will present A Night of Love Songs at 7 p.m. In the meantime, please visit the district website for videos of the Westfield High School Orchestra, Band, and Choral holiday concerts.
Thank you. All right. The next Board of Education meeting will be held on Tuesday, January 20th at 7:30 p.m. At 302 Elm Street, and the agenda will be posted under the Board of Education tab on the district's website. With that, I would ask the board to approve the minutes of the board meeting held on December 9, 2014, and the private minutes of December 9, 2014. Can I have a second? Ginny, thank you. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain?
Do we have to abstain because we weren't here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
abstain.
Great, thank you. Personnel, Mark.
Well done.
I'd like the board to consider personnel items 1 through 26, of which 18 through 26 were as an addendum at your table.
Second.
Mitch, thank you. Any comments or questions? Dana, please.
Rich Messek?
Yes.
Lucy Biegler? Yes. Mark Friedman?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Chris Langhart?
Yes.
Ginny Lights?
Yes.
Gretchen Olig?
Yes, I abstain from item 13 and 24.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Mitch Slater?
Yes.
Thank you. That's it.
All right, that's it. Okay, facilities. The Facilities Committee did meet on Friday, December 12th. Our primary topic of conversation were the various projects and specifically our 5-year facilities plan. We talked about not only the 2015 summer projects, but the ability to fund those projects, as well as a need to look out over the 5-year plan and really divide those anticipated projects into those that are more potential safety concerns, more general projects, and then more projects that are looked at as enhancements to our buildings and structures. We talked about the building rental policy, which you heard about a little earlier. We talked about looking into solar and a few other various topics. Dana, anything specific we wanted to raise on the facilities front?
I don't think that was it.
Buildings were good over the break?
Yeah, we had minor issues. We had a minor pipe burst, actually Sunday at Edison, but it was a minor thing, and we had it fixed by about 9:30 or 10 o'clock yesterday morning.
Very good. All right, that's it for facilities. Long-range planning, Ginny?
Yes, I'd like to schedule a follow-up meeting for the committee to review progress on our community survey development and also the results of outstanding questions that the committee had brought. So hopefully we'll have that on our calendar. I don't think there's anything on the calendar. No, we'll put something on the calendar in the next 2-3 weeks.
Gretchen, policies?
Yes, I'd like to ask the board to consider items 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Well, no, let's do 1, 2, and 3. Can I have a second? Ginny, thanks. So, just quickly, although I'm happy to provide more detail to the extent anybody has questions, the first item is for the abolishment of a policy that what's the nice phrase, Ginny, that you gave me earlier? It's no longer.
Used to be a state mandate for the process. School level planning is no longer a state mandate.
So we're going to abolish our policy.
Yeah.
Items 2 and 3 are down for second reading. We talked about them previously. There are some minor edits to the ones noted in item 2. And then item 3, we are abolishing all of the, for lack of a better term, the sub-policies for 2460, because we believe that the substance of, first of all, they're mandated by law. So regardless of whether it's in our policy or not, the district is obligated to comply. But we do feel like all of the information that's contained in the requirements of the sub-policies are in the general 2460, as well as in the information that's handed out to parents when they enter the special education process. So does anybody have any questions? Dan?
Rich Messek?
Yes.
Lucy Biegler?
Yeah.
Mark Friedman?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Chris Langhart?
Yes.
Ginny Lights?
Oh, yes.
Gretchen Olig?
Yes.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Mitch Slater?
Yes.
I'd like to ask the board to consider policy item number 4. Ginny, second. So we've gotten lots of emails as a board on our proposed 2015-16 calendar, specifically as it pertains to graduation. We've kind of proposed a change in the way that we've done things for a number of years. And in order not to flow into the following week, which would bring us later into June, we are suggesting that we hold graduation on a Friday, and the policy committee recommended to the board that we hold it at 3 p.m., which is consistent with what other districts who have an afternoon graduation do. We have gotten some emails, 3, I think, total, from community members expressing some valid concerns about a 3 p.m. Graduation, including the heat, which certainly is a concern and something that the committee talked about. We also talked about the fact that we're either worried about it being too hot, or if we push it later into the afternoon, then we're frequently dealing with the threat of thunderstorms, which come later in the summer. As we always have, the district will have an air-conditioned auditorium for family members who don't want to be outside in the heat, although it is a valid concern and we could talk about it further. I'm happy to talk about it. I don't know if anybody has any further thoughts from the first reading, since we've gotten some additional emails and what you're thinking.
Can we just clarify the timing? So the 3 o'clock, how did we arrive at 3? Because there were a couple of questions in there about Friday night being Sabbath,
Right.
that were addressed. So can you remind me? I don't remember.
So basically, you're absolutely correct. We had never had graduation on a Friday, at least not in a long time, because we wanted to stay away from those who observe the Sabbath. Okay? But we were speaking with other districts who had had a similar concern, and yet it doesn't make sense to move it to the following Monday. Doesn't make any sense, and then you're stuck with having to. It doesn't work in some years. So they had said that they had arrived with a 3 o'clock, and then what they found was good about it. They'd have a graduation that started at 3 o'clock, would be done certainly by 5 o'clock. Families could eat together. Those who observe the Sabbath, they can then follow what they generally do. They would be finished, and also what the other districts found was it was nice because families could have a dinner together before the kids went to the bash also. Whereas right now it's rather, the family don't see them all that long before they run off to the bash. So this community, although they had people who the first year questioned it and didn't think it was going to work, they found that it really was, it worked well for the families. So.
I think in the emails we saw, there were concerns about heat, as you said. There were concerns about it being too early in the day, that people would have to take off half a day in order to get there. There was this comment about the Sabbath and the bash, and doesn't matter to me so much. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, kind of the same thing. And if making it an hour or two later got us away from heat, got us away from people feeling like they needed to take a half a day. I mean, to me, it's just an hour or two, but I don't know.
Right. I mean, I think that, yeah, I mean, I'm not wed to any particular time, but I kind of feel like we haven't been overwhelmed with comments, right. And, that people are going to be unhappy no matter what. So while I'm not opposed to moving it to 4 or 5, as long as we get verification that it doesn't conflict with whatever Sabbath observance there would need to be, I do think at some point we just need to pick a time and move forward. I think having it on a Friday afternoon, whether it's 3 or 4, is preferable than running into the following Monday of the next week.
Absolutely.
And I think because it is different, maybe we can experience it and determine, is this the best, or is,
you put a calendar out for 2 years, so you have the same issue the second year. For some reason you find this year 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock would have been better. In retrospect, you got another year to fix it.
Right.
Well, and there's nothing we would have the ability to change it for the following year. We're not,
right.
That's not etched in stone,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I don't see the harm in supporting the recommendation as it's on the table at the moment, the 3 o'clock start for graduation. If there's further consideration by the public, if more public seems to think that that's either intrusive to their schedule or isn't sitting well as more publicity gets out, there's no drawback to us reconsidering between now and March, April, I don't believe. The primary requirement is to make sure that we can schedule the bash on the same day as graduation, which has already been done. Actually, this is a whole year in advance, so we have plenty of time to receive feedback.
And I think weren't you in touch with the Optimist Club before the committee made this, before we talked about it, or am I?
I think I was. It was just a while ago, so I'm not, I believe
That's my
I was.
recollection from.
If
our
not, I'll certainly reach
conversation.
out and let them know. But I believe I did early on when we were looking at it, yes.
But in consideration of the public's need to schedule things, this is 14, 18 months in advance, I don't know where we are, 17 months in advance at this point. And things change over that amount of time, but also, you know, we have basically we have a whole year to figure it out if we need to change the time or not. And I don't think that changing it now is going to make that much of a difference to anybody's plans or considerations. So we certainly have a lot of time to collect public input. I think there would be no harm done to approve the policy as it stands with a 3 o'clock start. And if some groundswell of information arrives to us, we can certainly reconsider it any time. But that's...
One other thing I just want to mention as well is something that consistently was brought up in the emails was, why don't we just have seniors? So the calendar provides for 181 days, and we're only required by law to have 180 days. And so there was a suggestion that the seniors, we could hold graduation on Thursday, and then the seniors would only have to go 180 days. But there's a lot, that assumes a lot of things, including that we don't go over in snow days. And it also creates an academic problem from the sense that not all classes at the high school are just seniors. There are some mixed classes, and so you're going to have an extra day. And if we were to push our luck and schedule it that way and end up with an additional snow day, then we're going to have everybody come in on a Saturday like we did, was that this year, last year? Which is certainly not ideal. It feels a little precarious, but Peggy, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to reiterate, I had spoke to a couple of people, and there is concern about the heat. And I know in my past graduations, it is very hot out there. And now that it's been moved to Kaler on the turf field, I'm sure it's even hotter than it was in the back. So I guess for me, I would like to be able to
Actually, I don't think, I mean, just from being there the last few years, I thought it would have been, it was a pretty hot day too. But I don't know if anyone else was there. Well, most of us were there. I don't really feel like it was any hotter last year on Keeler than it was 3 years earlier.
It's just hot.
It's just hot.
Yeah.
It's just very hot. I
Yeah.
know. But I also wanted to bring up the concept of BASH, and it's something that we're, looking at all the dates, especially 15, 16 is a hard year because Labor Day is very late, the Jewish holidays and so forth. We're kind of stuck to that Friday. I'm a little bit more concerned with the Friday graduation, with BASH going from Friday into Saturday morning. And it kind of loses the whole weekend for everybody because the kids have to kind of recover from graduation and the BASH all the way into that Saturday weekend, which is a very big family-oriented graduation party type of thing over that weekend. And that would be my only negative response to it, is more to the Friday graduation and it kind of, the BASH. And I would hate to have it have a negative effect on the BASH, where people say, well, we're having our family party on Saturday and not attend the BASH. So I'd like to be able to hear some feedback from the optimists and so forth, because I think the BASH is a good thing, and I'd hate to have it have a negative effect on the BASH in general.
I agree. I mean, there's so many unknowns, right?
Right.
This is our first year, as everybody's noted, and so there's
But-
a lot to be learned and figured out. Yeah, go ahead.
This is not a permanent change, though, to Friday, right? This is just
No.
a 2-year,
Just so
because of the
coincidentally.
calendar happened to fall
Right.
this way.
That's
Okay,
what we're going to
and we
look
go
for
back to
Friday.
Thursday, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Just Peggy, following that up, the timing of the BASH has changed a little bit in the last couple of years. Students aren't required to stay you may even know this because I think you have recent graduates. Students don't stay now until 6:37 in the morning. I think they actually maybe end at 5:30, 5 o'clock. There is a, the optimists had found over the years that kids can't sustain
Right.
the energy or the interest.
But they say, I think it's about 5 or 5:30
Yeah,
they come
yeah,
home.
yeah.
But
So-
then they, in general, then they sleep from
I
5 or
understand.
5:30 till 5 or 5:30.
I understand, and certainly that's something that has to be taken into consideration by all families that want to schedule a graduation party.
Yeah.
But, you know, we still have to make sure that we're doing the right thing for everybody. Certainly wise to be aware.
But I certainly will, I think I did speak with Darielle, but I will reach out and make sure that that she's aware this far ahead. We can consider anything.
Well, now I know not to have a party Saturday because
Exactly.
graduating, so I'm glad you informed
We'll
me
have
of
it
that.
the weekend before.
Anybody else want to talk? I think we're good to vote then.
Rich Matesic.
Yes.
Lucy Beegler.
Yes.
Mark Friedman.
Yes.
Brendan Galligan.
Yes.
Chris Langhardt.
Yes.
Ginny Lights.
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg.
Yes.
Peggy Astor.
Yes.
Mitch Slater.
Yes. This is for 16.
And finally, I'd like to ask the board to approve item number 5, to affirm the superintendent's decision on HIV incident 15 WA02 for the reasons set forth therein. Can I have a second?
Two of them.
Second.
Thank you, Brendan.
Got it.
Dana.
Rich Matesic.
Yes.
Lucy Beegler.
Yes.
Mark Friedman.
Yes.
Brendan Galligan.
Yes.
Chris Langhardt.
Yes.
Ginny Lights.
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg.
Yes.
Peggy Astor.
Yes.
Mitch Slater.
Yes.
Anything else?
That's all I have on policies.
Those guys should abstain.
Curriculum, instruction, and
Yeah,
program.
that's true.
Are you
Oh,
doing that
I
as
think
well?
that's me again. Yeah, so bear with me because I'm gonna try and put Roseanne's hat on now. And it won't be as good as she would have done. But I would like to ask the board to approve curriculum items number 1 and 2. Can I have a second, please? Ginny. Curriculum item 1 is to approve the curricula for first reading physical educations, grades 6, 7, 8, and then the fine arts curriculum that's listed below. I would just briefly talk about from the notes. When the phys ed teachers came in to present their curriculum, they indicated that it was revised. It hadn't been revised in a number of years, and it was revised to include standards and just to be updated. So there are items such as rollerblading and wrestling that were taken out, and more fitness and wellness items and student goal setting items were incorporated into the curriculum. 6th grade basic skills and some strategies as students get older. More strategies are taught and included. They were enthused. They were great. They were fantastic. They were enthusiastic. They are excited about the new curriculum and also excited about the possibility of working with elementary phys ed teachers and high school phys ed teachers to create a body of curriculum where students are progressing the whole time. So that was the phys ed curriculum. The fine arts curriculum, you could see there was a lot. It's all been worked on for the few years, and kind of like I just mentioned with respect to the phys ed, there has been a lot of PLCs and a lot of communications between all the different grade levels to try and make sure that we have curriculum from the time students start in the fine arts programs through high school where they're constantly building. So there was a lot of conversation between the middle school telling the elementary school, these are the things we want to see students come in with in 6th grade, and similar conversations in 9th grade to the middle school. So unless someone has specific questions, and then I can refer to the notes that Roseanne left, those are the items that are on for first reading. And then the items that are on for second reading are the gifted curriculum that was previously presented and detailed by Roseanne to the board. Any questions? Dana?
Rich Matesic.
Yes.
Lucy Beegler.
Yes.
Mark Friedman.
Yes.
Brendan Galligan.
Yes.
Chris Langhardt.
Yes.
Ginny Lights.
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg.
Yes.
Peggy Astor.
Yes.
Mitch Slater.
Yes.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Finance, Mark.
I'd like the board to consider finance items 1 through 6. Ginny, thank you. Any questions or comments? Dana, please.
Rich Matesic.
Yes.
Lucy Biegler.
Yes.
Mark Friedman.
Yes.
Brendan Galligan.
Yes.
Chris Langhart.
Yes.
Ginny Lights.
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg.
Yes.
Peggy Oster.
Yes.
Mitch Slater.
Yes.
That's it. All right, legislation, I'm not aware of any conversation or developments for this meeting. All right. Technology Committee report, Mitch?
No report tonight. We're meeting on the 16th.
Thank you. I'd ask the board to note the notes for the record. And then move to any unfinished business. Any new business? Any liaison reports? All right, hearing none, I will then recognize the public for questions and/or comments on any topic. Seeing no one come to the podium, I would ask the board to approve the following resolutions. Resolved that the Board of Education move into private session for the purpose of discussing a possible harassment, intimidation, and bullying incidents and legal matters. And further resolved that any discussion held by the board which need not remain confidential and the results of the discussion will be made public as soon as practicable. Can I have a second? Ginny, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, the motion carries. We'll move into private session.